Most people spend their entire lives waiting for the world to change. They wait for the economy to improve. They wait for the government to fix things. They wait for their boss to notice them. They wait for life to become easier. But Jim Rohn said something that cuts through all of that. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. That one sentence carries a brutal truth, because wishing life were easier makes you weak, but becoming better makes you powerful. The world is not designed to be fair. It is not designed to be kind. It is designed to respond. And it only responds to one thing: who you are becoming. Most people say things like, life is hard, society is unfair, opportunities are not equal, I was born in the wrong place, I didn't get the right chances. But Jim Rohn would say, the world does not owe you anything. The world doesn't care if you are tired. It doesn't care if you are frustrated. It doesn't care if you feel unlucky. It only cares about what you bring to the table. If you bring excuses, you get nothing. If you bring effort, you get experience. If you bring value, you get reward. That is the real law of life. Jim Rohn taught that success is not something you chase. Success is something you attract by the person you become. That means if your life isn't working, it's not because the world is broken. It's because you are still under construction. And that's not an insult. That's an opportunity. Because it means you can change everything, not by fixing the world, but by fixing yourself. Think about this. Two people can live in the same country, same economy, same government, same society. One becomes wealthy, one stays broke. Why? Not because the world treated them differently, but because they treated themselves differently. One reads, one watches TV. One trains their mind, one scrolls social media. One invests in skills, one complains. The world rewards the first, the world ignores the second. Jim Rohn said, you don't get paid for time, you get paid for value. That means your future is not controlled by your past, it is controlled by your personal development. If you are poor today, it's not because you are unlucky, it's because your current skills, habits, and mindset are not yet worth more in the marketplace. But the moment you improve yourself, the moment you become more skilled, more disciplined, more focused, your value rises. And when your value rises, so does your income, your opportunities, and your freedom. The biggest lie society teaches is this: if only the system were better, I would succeed. Jim Rohn would say, no, if you were better, you would succeed. Because successful people don't wait for perfect conditions. They become powerful enough to win in imperfect conditions. They adapt, they learn, they grow, they sharpen their skills, and the world eventually has no choice but to reward them. The world doesn't pay you for what you know. It pays you for what you can do. It doesn't care about your intentions. It cares about your execution. It doesn't care about your dreams. It cares about your discipline. That is why Jim Rohn focused so much on self-development, because the fastest way to change your life is not to change your environment, it's to change yourself. And here's the most powerful part. When you stop blaming the world, you take back control. When you stop complaining, you start building. When you stop waiting, you start winning. The moment you say, my life is my responsibility, you step into your power. Jim Rohn didn't teach people to fight the world. He taught people to outgrow it, to become so skilled, so disciplined, so valuable that no matter where they were born, no matter what obstacles they faced, they would rise. And that philosophy can change your life starting today. Most people don't realize it, But the words they repeat every day are quietly destroying their future. I can't because of the economy. I didn't have rich parents. My country has no opportunities. My boss is unfair. Life is against me. These words may sound harmless, but Jim Rohn warned us. When you blame others, you give up your power to change. And when you give up your power, you give up your future. Blaming feels good in the moment. It protects your ego. It saves you from feeling guilty. It makes you feel like a victim instead of a failure. But that comfort comes with a deadly price. You stop growing. Because if everything is someone else's fault, there is no reason for you to improve. And that is how people stay stuck for 10, 20, 30 years. Let me tell you something harsh but true. The world does not reward victims. It rewards problem solvers. It doesn't matter how unfair life has been to you. What matters is how useful you become. And every time you say, "It's not my fault," you are telling your mind, "I am powerless." And a powerless person never wins. Jim Rohn said something very powerful. You cannot change the winds, but you can adjust the sails. That means you cannot control the economy, your past, where you were born, what others do. But you can always control your attitude, your discipline, your skills, your effort. Blaming the wind will never move your ship. Only adjusting your sails will. When you blame the government, you say, "They control my future." When you blame your family, you say, "They decide my limits." When you blame society, you say, "I am trapped." But the moment you say, "My life is my responsibility," everything changes. Because now you are no longer waiting to be saved. You are becoming strong enough to win. Blaming is easy. Anyone can complain. But improvement is hard, and that is why most people avoid it. It's easier to point fingers than to look in the mirror. But Jim Rohn said, the major key to your better future is you, not your boss, not the economy, not your parents, you. Here's the truth. Two people can be born in the same poor neighborhood. One becomes successful, one stays broke. Same streets, same schools, same conditions. The difference? One blamed the world, the other built himself. One waited, the other worked. One complained, the other learned. And the world rewarded the one who grew. The moment you stop blaming, you start seeing opportunities. When you stop saying, "This is unfair," you start asking, "How can I win anyway?" That is the mindset of champions. They don't need perfect conditions. They become powerful enough to win in imperfect ones. Jim Rohn taught that life is like a mirror. It doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. If you are lazy, life gives you struggle. If you are disciplined, life gives you progress. If you are valuable, life gives you rewards. So if you don't like what you see in the mirror, don't blame the mirror. Change yourself. Blaming keeps you weak because it trains your mind to wait. Improving yourself makes you strong because it trains your mind to act, and action is where power lives. So from today, stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" Start saying, "What must I become to rise above this?" That one question will change your life, because winners don't wait for the world to change. They outgrow it.
Most people never fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because they give their power away. Every time someone says, "It's not my fault," something dangerous happens inside their mind. They quietly say, "I am not in control of my life." And the moment you believe that, you become weak. Jim Rohn warned us, when you blame others, you give up your power to change. Because if something is not your fault, then it is not your responsibility. And if it is not your responsibility, you will never fix it. Blaming feels good in the moment. It protects your ego. It keeps you from feeling embarrassed. It makes you feel innocent. But it also makes you powerless. Because as long as the world is the problem, you have no reason to improve. And people who don't improve stay exactly where they are. When you blame the government, you say, they control my future. When you blame your family, you say, they decide my limits. When you blame the economy, you say, I am trapped. And the mind believes whatever you tell it. So if you tell it, I am trapped, it will stop trying to escape. But successful people think differently. They say, if my life is not working, I must become better. Not louder, not angrier, not more frustrated, better. Better in skills, better in discipline, better in mindset, better in effort. That is how power is built. Jim Rohn said, you cannot change the winds, but you can adjust the sails. You cannot control where you were born, how rich your parents were, what the economy does, what other people think. But you can always control what you learn, how hard you work, how disciplined you are, how strong your mindset becomes. Blaming the wind never moves the ship. Adjusting the sails does. Weak people focus on what they can't control. Strong people focus on what they can. Weak people ask, why is this happening to me? Strong people ask, what can I do about it? And that difference creates completely different lives. Two people can be born in the same city, same country, same conditions. One becomes successful, the other stays stuck. Not because the world treated them differently, but because one blamed and one built. One complained, the other improved. One waited, the other worked. And the world rewarded the one who grew. Jim Rohn said, the major key to your better future is you. Not the government, not your boss, not your past, you. The moment you accept that, you stop being a victim and start becoming a leader. Blaming is easy, anyone can complain, but growth is hard, and that's why it changes everything. Because once you stop blaming, you start seeing opportunity everywhere. Once you stop complaining, you start building. Once you stop waiting, you start winning. So the next time life feels unfair, don't ask, who should I blame? Ask instead, who must I become? That one question turns weakness into power and frustration into progress. And that is how you win.
Most people believe the way to change their life is to change their job. They think, if I get a better job, my life will improve. If I make more money, everything will be fixed. If I find the right opportunity, I'll finally be happy. But Jim Rohn said something that changed millions of lives. Work harder on yourself than on your job. That sentence is not motivational. It is strategic. Because if you become better, your job must get better. If you become more valuable, your income must rise. If you become stronger, your circumstances must follow. Most people spend their entire life working on their job. They wake up early, they go to work, they come home tired, they repeat. But they never work on the person who is doing the job. They train their employer's business, but not their own mind. They build someone else's dream, but not their own future. And Jim Rohn warned us, if you don't improve yourself, you will always be limited by who you are. Self-development is not about feeling good. It's about becoming dangerously capable. When you develop yourself, you think better, decide faster, learn quicker, earn more, and attract better people. And that changes everything. The same world that ignores weak people rewards strong ones. Jim Rohn taught that money is not something you chase. Money is something that comes to you when you become valuable. He said, you don't get paid for time. You get paid for value. If you are not earning enough, it's not because the world is unfair. It's because you have not yet developed enough value. But the good news is this: value is not fixed.
Value is built, and you build it by improving yourself. When you read books, you upgrade your thinking. When you learn skills, you upgrade your income. When you train your emotions, you upgrade your relationships. When you build discipline, you upgrade your future. Everything changes when you change. Most people want success, but they don't want to become the kind of person who deserves it. They want the rewards without the growth. But life doesn't work that way. Jim Rohn said, "Success is something you attract by the person you become." That means your future is not waiting for luck. It is waiting for your evolution. Think about this. If you take a broke person and give them $1 million, most of the time they lose it. Why? Because they didn't become a millionaire. They only touched the money. But if you take a person and turn them into a millionaire in their mind, they will always find a way to create wealth, because who you become is more important than what you have. Self-development is the real power, because it cannot be taken away. Money can be lost, jobs can disappear, businesses can fail, but skills, mindset, and discipline stay with you forever. And wherever you go, you bring your power with you. Jim Rohn said, "Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune." School teaches you how to survive. Self-development teaches you how to win. Reading, learning, training, thinking, that is how you separate yourself from the crowd. When you improve yourself, you stop begging for opportunity. Opportunity starts looking for you. When you become valuable, people want you. Companies need you. Markets reward you. Not because you asked, but because you earned it. So don't wait for life to get easier. Become better. Don't wait for opportunity. Become valuable. Don't ask for a better future. Build yourself into someone who creates one. Because self-development is not optional. It is the real power.
If you don't like the life you're living today, don't blame the world. Don't blame your past. Don't blame your parents. Don't blame the economy. Improve yourself. Because the moment you start changing who you are, everything around you begins to change. You don't need to do something big today. You just need to do something better. Read for 10 minutes. Learn one new skill. Stop saying, "I can't," and start saying, "I'm learning." That is how confidence is built. That is how winners are created. Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." So look around you. Are the people in your life helping you grow or keeping you comfortable? Are they building your future or keeping you in the past? Because if you want to become a better person, you must surround yourself with better thinking. And that's why this channel exists. This is not a place for excuses. This is not a place for complaining. This is a place for people who want to become stronger, smarter, and more disciplined. So if you're ready to stop blaming the world and start building yourself, subscribe, because this is where you come to become the next version of you.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever said, "Life is unfair. I was born in the wrong place. I didn't get the opportunities others got. I would succeed if the world were different"? If you've ever thought that, you are not alone. Millions of people walk through life believing the world is against them. They believe their past, their country, their family, their economy, or their circumstances are holding them back. But Jim Rohn, one of the greatest personal development philosophers of all time, said something that changes everything. If you don't like how things are, change yourself, not the world. And today, this single idea might change your entire life. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The world does not care about your excuses.
It does not care about where you were born. It does not care how unfair your childhood was. It does not care how hard your life has been. The world only responds to value. And Jim Rohn said it best. The marketplace is cruel, but it is fair. It rewards value. You don't get paid based on your needs. You don't get rewarded based on your struggles. You get rewarded based on how useful you become. So if life is hard, if money is tight, if doors are not opening, the uncomfortable question is not, what's wrong with the world? The real question is, who am I becoming? Blaming the world feels good, but it makes you weak. When you say, it's the government's fault, it's the economy's fault, it's my family's fault, it's my boss's fault, you are saying something dangerous. My life is not in my control. And the moment you believe that, you lose all power. Jim Rohn said, when you blame others, you give up your power to change. Because if the world is the problem, then you are helpless. But if you are the problem, then you are also the solution. The most powerful words in the English language are not, I am lucky. They are, I am responsible. When you take responsibility, everything changes. You stop saying, this is happening to me, and you start saying, this is happening because of me. And that is not a curse. That is freedom. Because if your results come from you, then your future also comes from you. Jim Rohn said, you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction. And direction is everything. Most people think life is about luck, but Jim Rohn taught that life is about becoming. You don't get rich by chasing money. You get rich by becoming valuable. You don't attract better opportunities by complaining. You attract them by growing. You don't build a great life by wishing. You build it by discipline. Jim Rohn said, success is something you attract by the person you become. So if you want more money, become more skilled. If you want more respect, become more disciplined. If you want more freedom, become more valuable. When you improve yourself, something magical happens. Your thinking changes, your habits change, your standards change, your income changes, your relationships change, and eventually, your life changes. Not because the world became kinder, but because you became stronger. The same world that crushes the weak rewards the prepared. So today, you must decide, will you keep blaming the world, or will you start building yourself? Will you stay a victim of circumstances, or become the creator of your future? Because the moment you stop blaming and start improving, everything begins to move in your favor. Jim Rohn left us with this truth. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. So don't ask for a better world. Become a better person. And the world will respond.
Let me tell you something that most people will never accept. Your problems are not going anywhere. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when you get more money, not when you get more followers, not when you finally feel ready. If you are waiting for life to get easier, you will wait for the rest of your life. Because life was not designed to be easy. It was designed to test who you are. And every problem you face is asking one simple question. Are you going to grow, or are you going to quit? Most people pray for less problems. They say, I just want a peaceful life. I just want things to calm down. I just want things to be easy. But that prayer is dangerous, because if life got easy, you would stay weak. Easy never made anyone strong.
Comfort never built character, and safety never created greatness. Pressure does. You don't get stronger in comfort. You get stronger when life pushes back. Think about this. When you lift weights, the muscle doesn't grow because the weight is light. It grows because the weight is heavy. When you face problems, your mind doesn't grow because life is smooth. It grows because life is hard. So when life puts pressure on you, it is not trying to crush you. It is trying to build you. But most people don't understand that. They see a problem and say, "Why me? Why is this happening? Why is life so unfair?" But strong people ask a different question. They ask, "What is this here to teach me? What strength is this trying to give me? What level is this trying to move me to?" Because every problem is a doorway. On one side is the old you. On the other side is a stronger you. But to pass through that door, you must be willing to suffer a little. You must be willing to feel uncomfortable. You must be willing to struggle. You must be willing to fight. Most people quit right there. They run when it gets hard. They stop when it hurts. They give up when it feels heavy. But listen closely. The pain you are running from is the pain that would have made you powerful. The struggle you are avoiding is the struggle that would have built your future. You don't grow when you are relaxed. You grow when you are challenged. And the problem you're facing right now? It is not a punishment. It is training. It is life saying, "Let's see what you're made of." And right now, life is watching what you do. Do you complain? Do you quit? Do you blame? Or do you rise? Do you say, "I may be tired, but I will not stop. I may be afraid, but I will not turn back. I may not know how yet, but I will figure it out"? That mindset is what separates winners from everyone else. Winners don't get fewer problems. They just get bigger muscles. They get stronger minds, stronger discipline, stronger belief. So the question is not, how do I remove my problems? The real question is, how do I become someone who is bigger than them? Because when you grow, your problems shrink. The storm may stay the same, but you become the one who can walk through it. And that is the secret most people never learn. They wait for the storm to stop, but the strong build a stronger ship. So don't wish for an easier life. Wish for a stronger you. Because your future doesn't belong to the person with the least problems. It belongs to the person who refuses to be defeated by them.
There is a quote from Jim Rohn that has changed millions of lives. It sounds simple, but it is one of the most powerful truths you will ever hear. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Think about that. Most people wake up every day wishing for a softer life. They wish for less stress, less pressure, fewer responsibilities, fewer problems. They say, if life would just slow down, if people would just stop demanding so much, if I could just get a break. But here is the hard truth. Life will not get easier for you, and it was never supposed to. Life is not designed to make you comfortable. Life is designed to make you capable. Every challenge you face is not random. Every obstacle you hit is not bad luck. Every difficult season you walk through has a purpose. That purpose is growth. And the biggest mistake people make is thinking that success comes from removing problems. They think, if I just had more money, I would be happy. If I just had a better job, I would feel free. If I just had less pressure, I would finally relax. But listen closely. New levels bring new problems. New money brings new stress. New success brings new responsibilities. So if you are not growing, your new problems will crush you. That's why Jim Rohn taught something so important. Success is not about what you get. Success is about what you become. You don't become successful by collecting things. You become successful by developing yourself. You don't become powerful by avoiding pressure.
You become powerful by surviving it, learning from it, and mastering it. Think about every strong person you admire. They were not given an easy life. They were given a difficult life that forced them to become strong. They were tested, they were challenged, they were pushed to their limits, and instead of quitting, they grew. That is the path. So if life feels heavy right now, if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like everything is hard, that is not a sign you are failing. That is a sign you are being called to level up. The pressure you feel is the weight that will build your strength. The struggle you face is the fire that will forge your character. The problems in front of you are shaping the person you are becoming. And that is why you should never pray for fewer problems. You should pray for more discipline, more wisdom, more courage, more control over your mind. Because when you become better, everything else gets better. Your job gets easier, your relationships get better, your money improves, your confidence rises. Not because the world changed, but because you did. This is the foundation of all success. And once you understand this, you stop asking life for mercy, and you start asking yourself for greatness.
Every human being has problems. Let me repeat that. Every human being has problems. The rich have problems. The poor have problems. The famous have problems. The unknown have problems. The strong have problems. The weak have problems. No one is exempt. Life does not look at someone and say, "Oh, you're a good person, so I will give you no struggles." Life doesn't work that way. Life gives everyone challenges. The only thing that is different is how people respond to them. And that response is what determines your future. Most people waste their life asking, "Why do I have so many problems?" But successful people ask a different question. They ask, "What is this problem trying to turn me into?" Because problems are not mistakes. They are not accidents. They are not punishments. They are training. Life is like a gym, and problems are the weights. If the weights are light, you stay weak. If the weights are heavy, you grow strong. But most people don't want heavy weights. They want easy days. They want smooth roads. They want no pressure. And what happens? They stay small. They stay fragile. They stay unprepared for life. That's why Jim Rohn said something so powerful. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. He understood something most people never learn. If life became easier, you would not become stronger. If challenges disappeared, your potential would die. You need resistance to grow. Look at nature. A tree that grows in strong winds develops deep roots. A tree that grows in calm weather can be blown over by a small storm. Your problems are your wind. They are forcing you to grow deeper, stronger, and wiser, but only if you don't quit. Most people don't fail because life is too hard. They fail because they never got stronger. They never built discipline. They never built patience. They never built mental toughness. They only built excuses. They say, "I would succeed if people were nicer. I would be happy if life was easier. I would move forward if I had better luck." But life does not reward excuses. Life rewards growth. You don't get to choose whether life gives you problems, but you do get to choose whether those problems make you bitter or better. You can let a problem make you angry, or you can let it make you disciplined. You can let a problem make you afraid, or you can let it make you focused. You can let a problem stop you, or you can let it sharpen you.
That choice belongs to you, and that choice is the difference between an average life and an extraordinary one. When a storm hits, weak people break. They panic, they complain, they blame, they quit. Strong people build. They learn, they adapt, they improve, they rise. And the only thing that separates them is not luck. It is not talent. It is character. Character is built under pressure. The version of you that can handle success is built inside struggle. The version of you that can handle wealth is built inside scarcity. The version of you that can handle leadership is built inside responsibility. If you are facing a hard season right now, it is not because you are unlucky. It is because life is preparing you. But preparation is painful. Growth is uncomfortable. Change is difficult. And that's why most people never become great. They want the reward, but not the resistance. They want the victory, but not the battle. They want the results, but not the process. But you cannot skip the process. Problems are part of the price of success. You don't pay with money first. You pay with effort. You pay with discipline. You pay with patience. You pay with perseverance. And if you're willing to pay that price, life will reward you. So stop asking, why do I have so many problems? Start asking, how strong must I become to handle this? Because the storm is not here to destroy you. It is here to reveal who you are. And if you rise in the storm, nothing in life will ever be able to break you.
Most people hate pain. They avoid it. They run from it. They do everything they can to escape it. They take shortcuts. They look for comfort. They numb themselves with distractions. But pain never disappears. It only waits. And if you don't face pain today, you will face a bigger pain tomorrow. Jim Rohn said something that changed millions of lives. Either you suffer the pain of discipline, or you suffer the pain of regret. Those are your two choices. There is no third option. Discipline hurts. Waking up early hurts. Working when you're tired hurts. Saying no to comfort hurts. Doing what is hard hurts. But regret hurts more. Regret is the pain of knowing you could have done more, but you didn't. Pain is not here to punish you. Pain is here to teach you. Pain shows you where you are weak. Pain shows you where you must grow. Pain shows you what you must change. Every time you fail, every time you get rejected, every time life knocks you down, it is asking you one question. Will you quit or will you grow? Most people quit. They say, it's too hard. I'm not good enough. I wasn't meant for this. But successful people say something different. They say, what can I learn from this? How can I become better? What must I fix? That mindset is what transforms pain into power. Pain is the fire. You are the steel. If you run from the fire, you stay weak. If you go through the fire, you come out stronger. Think about every great person you admire. They were not built in comfort. They were built in struggle. They failed. They were embarrassed. They were rejected. They were doubted. And instead of quitting, they used the pain as fuel. Pain made them sharper. Pain made them disciplined. Pain made them focused. Your pain is not useless. Your pain is a message. It is telling you where you need to improve, where you need to grow, where you need to get stronger. But most people drown their pain instead of listening to it. They scroll, they sleep, they drink, they avoid. And because they avoid pain,
They avoid growth. But listen carefully. The life you want is on the other side of pain. The body you want is on the other side of pain. The success you want is on the other side of pain. The confidence you want is on the other side of pain. You don't become great by feeling good. You become great by doing what is hard. Pain is the price of becoming more. So stop running from discomfort. Stop avoiding challenge. Stop wishing things were easier. Instead, say, let it be hard. Let it be painful. Let it push me. Because every time you choose discipline over comfort, you are building the future version of yourself. And one day, you will look back at this painful season, and you will say, that's when I became strong.
You have already survived things you once thought would destroy you. There were days you didn't think you could go on, moments when you felt broken, times when you felt alone, afraid, or lost. Yet, you are still here. You woke up, you kept breathing, you kept moving. That alone proves something powerful. You are stronger than you think. Most people underestimate themselves. They look at their problems and say, I can't handle this. I'm not strong enough. I'm not built for this. But that voice is lying to you. If you weren't built for this, you wouldn't still be standing. Life does not give heavy battles to weak soldiers. The weight you are carrying matches the strength inside you. You just haven't discovered it yet. Pressure does not create weakness. Pressure reveals strength. When everything is easy, you never learn what you're capable of. But when life pushes you to the edge, something inside you wakes up. You think, I can't do this. Then you do it. And suddenly you realize, I am stronger than I believed. Every hard moment in your life has been proof of your power. Every time you didn't quit, every time you didn't give up, every time you got back up, that was strength. Not loud strength, not proud strength, quiet strength. The kind that keeps going even when no one is watching. You have already survived things you once thought would destroy you. There were days you didn't think you could go on, moments when you felt broken, times when you felt alone, afraid, or lost. Yet, you are still here. You woke up, you kept breathing, you kept moving. That alone proves something powerful. You are stronger than you think. Most people underestimate themselves. They look at their problems and say, I can't handle this. I'm not strong enough. I'm not built for this. But that voice is lying to you. If you weren't built for this, you wouldn't still be standing. Life does not give heavy battles to weak soldiers. The weight you are carrying matches the strength inside you. You just haven't discovered it yet. Pressure does not create weakness. Pressure reveals strength. When everything is easy, you never learn what you're capable of. But when life pushes you to the edge, something inside you wakes up. You think, I can't do this. Then you do it. And suddenly you realize, I am stronger than I believed. Every hard moment in your life has been proof of your power. Every time you didn't quit, every time you didn't give up, every time you got back up, that was strength. Not loud strength, not proud strength, quiet strength. The kind that keeps going even when no one is watching. Stop asking, why is life so hard? Start asking, what must I become to handle this? Because the problem is not here to stop you. The problem is here to shape you. You don't grow when things are easy. You grow when you are forced to be more than you were yesterday. The struggle is building your patience, your discipline, your courage, your character. And character is what lasts. Money can come and go.
People can come and go, but the person you become stays with you forever. That is why your problems matter. They are carving you into something stronger. Right now, you may feel tired, you may feel overwhelmed, you may feel like giving up, but listen closely. You are not tired of life. You are tired of fighting without believing in yourself. The moment you realize your own power, everything changes. You stop begging life to be easier. You start commanding yourself to be better. You stop saying, "I hope things improve." You start saying, "I will improve." Because the strongest people are not those with no problems. They are the ones who refuse to be broken by them. And that strength is already inside you.
Life will not get easier. Let that sink in. No matter how much you grow, no matter how successful you become, no matter how far you go, life will still challenge you. There will still be problems. There will still be pressure. There will still be moments when you feel tested. But here is the truth that changes everything. You don't need an easier life. You need a stronger self. When you grow, what once felt impossible becomes manageable. What once felt overwhelming becomes normal. What once made you afraid no longer controls you, because you changed. Most people spend their whole life praying for fewer problems. They say, "God, please make this easier. Please remove this struggle. Please take away this pressure." But that is the wrong prayer. The right prayer is, "Make me stronger. Make me wiser. Make me more disciplined. Make me more courageous." Because if you become better, everything else gets better. The same storm that drowns someone else will not stop you. The same challenge that breaks others will not break you. Not because life changed, but because you did. Your future is not built by luck. It is built by who you become. You don't win in life by avoiding problems. You win in life by outgrowing them. Every day you choose discipline over comfort. Every day you choose effort over excuses. Every day you choose growth over fear. You are building a version of yourself that no problem can defeat. And one day you will look back at everything you survived, the nights you cried, the days you struggled, the moments you almost gave up, and you will realize that's what made me strong. So don't be afraid of challenges. They are not here to stop you. They are here to shape you. And if you keep growing, if you keep pushing, if you keep believing, there is no limit to what you can become. Because the strongest people are not the ones with no problems. They are the ones who refuse to be broken by them.